I'd be more interested in drinking these kind of German style beers and actually being super amped for it. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, Marzen, I was like, whatever.
But let's not get it twisted. You are still very strongly hashtag Team Lactose.
Hashtag Team Lactose. Okay. Hashtag HAZE boy.
Hashtag.
You know what I'm saying?
HAZE boy.
Maybe we should do that Avril Lavigne remix.
Oh my gosh.
So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead.
I'm Scott Beer Cole, beer enthusiast.
Welcome to another edition of BML here on BAOS. We got a good one, mate.
I'm excited.
This is a beautiful bounty of beers we got from our good mates at 14th Star Brewery in St. Albans, Vermont.
What a pretty lineup we got here.
Oh, look at it. It's the rainbow of beers once we see them. So we have their Oktoberfest German Marzen. We've got their classic Maple Breakfast Stout. And do you know what? Fun fact, she used to have lactose in it, and they removed the lactose because, people were lactose intolerant but wanted to drink it.
No way.
But they weren't anti-lactose, which made me
right.
very happy. The Vermonter, raspberry Vermonter Weisse, as opposed to a Berliner Weisse.
I want to get that in me.
Oh, you're going to need to. We have their B72 double IPA. This is their hazy bad boy.
8%?
Yeah, 8%. And then their Big Dog Tribute. Also a double IPA. I think this is 8.1, so just sniff over. I think they're actually going to drop the ABV on that to make it 7, so there's a bit more of a difference. Yeah. And that's more of like I think kind of a West Coast style. So
exciting.
Going to start with this. So I'd only ever had one 14 star beer prior to the podcast, and it was my man's Rob. Shout out to Rob. And he gave me one of they have this thing called what was it called? Do you remember what the name? Actually, you might not remember. They have a homebrew competition. I forgot the name of it. It's got a very like
in Vermont.
In Vermont, yeah. At the thing. So basically, what they do is in conjunction with Beverage Warehouse.
Oh,
and
nice.
Basically, homebrewers submit their recipes.
Squeeze it up.
Homebrewers submit their recipes, and it goes to a whole bunch. It goes to industry judges to judge them. Then it goes to the top 2, and then they brew the top 2 on the scaled up.
Put it in Beverage Warehouse.
Put it in. I don't think they can. They have it at bars, and you can only buy 2 at once, and you get a scorecard. And you have to write what you think, which one's better. And the other one, the one that beat out the other one, which I wish I had tried it, it was like a hazy IPA. It was fantastic.
Nice.
And it just beat out the other one. And
so these are homebrewers, though. These
homebrewers who get to opportunity to collaborate with actual professional brewing, scale up their recipes.
Right, so they're brewing it on their own systems, and then it's judged. If they win, they scale up and put it in a bunch of bars and distribute it in Vermont.
Correct.
That's
super
very,
cool. Very cool system. Like yeah, man. So that was a bit of an aside. So this is the German Oktoberfest Marzen, 5.9%.
Smells delicious.
German malts, hops, classic Marzen style. All I can say is get in you.
Cheers.
Get some fall in you, boys. Nice, right?
Yeah,
nice
great.
classic malty Marzen thing. We're both getting more and more into like pilsners and lagers and more crispy boy styles.
Yeah, I was mentioning that. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't want to call it palate fatigue, but I've had a lot of hazy IPAs recently, and I've kind of my taste has swung the other way. I think kind of just to contrast what I'm used to drinking. So yeah, like dry hop pilsners and Kolsch and even lagers. I'm like, I want that right now. So
yeah,
I'd say I'm not drinking the haze and the big IPAs, but I'm like leaning towards these more often than not now.
I'd be more interested in drinking these kind of German style beers and actually being super amped for it. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, Marzen, I was like, whatever.
But let's not get it twisted. You are still very strongly hashtag Team Lactose.
Hashtag Team Lactose. Okay. Hashtag HAZE boy.
Hashtag.
You know what I'm saying?
HAZE boy.
Maybe we should do that Avril Lavigne remix.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that has to happen.
Very Canadian, right? Did you hear about that conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne? How they
that she's dead.
And they replaced her with like a thing.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate. So anyway, this beer, malty, crisp, caramel.
Nice caramel. Let's do it.
Slight little bit of bitterness.
It's quite a balanced beer. Easy to drink. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
It's pretty good.
Really.
Next bad boy. Maple Breakfast Stout, brewed with real maple syrup. Now, Vermont,
they're known for their maple syrup.
Yeah. Just like here in Quebec.
Easy. Is that nitro or something? Or?
No, it's not. I cut my nails and I dropped it. Man's keep your nails clipped. Don't be trash ass. Yeah, nyam that. What?
Yes, Tiffany. Nyam it.
That means drink it, Tiffany. Drink
Actually means eat it, but like, yeah, you can
That's
eat
true.
it too.
It means eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Oh, man's saying nyam it, eh? Alright, cool. Thank you.
we're just going slow, man.
Yeah, I know.
Chelsea, you're just you're looking for that raspberry guy, aren't you? Yeah.
Scott's gonna have to pass that glass over.
So, and don't be shy with it.
I know.
Don't be shy. That's okay. I have another one in the
Don't be
fridge.
stingy. We should have a podcast where you just like explain to everybody the conversation that we all have separately.
About yeah.
Yeah, like
About-
Nyam.
Oh
To
yeah.
clarify what Nyam is.
Oh,
We should have a breakdown of like
like what the words
this
mean?
means
Yes.
this, because often you just break out into patois and no one knows what you're saying. So
like the vocab.
yeah, a vocab breakdown.
Yeah, we could.
and put it up on the screen like.
Yeah.
And it comes up.
Bare
it's like-
mans means many people. Yam, to eat.
Verb.
Yeah.
In brackets,
To
V for verb.
This is you. This is your
To eat.
area. Yeah,
Yeah.
We can actually do it if we say something ridiculous, pop that up. And everyone's making an ongoing thing.
And have like a reference card so when people watch the other episode, they're like, "Oh, boy, Craig's really yamming that."
We send it out, put it out, printable card. They can put it in their fridge.
This is ridiculous.
Yes. All right. Maple breakfast stout.
Get it in
Yum.
you.
Yum that. It is. Oh, it's dusty, eh? I like
Spin the glass.
6.5. It looks sexy.
It's
Wow.
it's pretty easy drinking for what it is. It's I mean, when you say maple stout, 6.5%, I think like syrupy and hectic, but it's not. It's like,
No.
like it's crushable. Like it's fairly light on the palate, but still has flavor. And
Yep. A little smooth.
I'm not getting a ton
Creamy.
of the maple.
No, I think
to
the
be
maple's
honest.
in the. And you know what? To be honest, like we didn't. This hasn't been sitting out for a bit. I reckon it
warmed up a bit.
blossom as it warms.
Yeah.
But it's this is a solid one. I think we had they had an imperial version of this bad boy.
Ooh, that would be the hectic one,
With,
yeah.
like red wine barrels and
Right.
stuff. That was litty. I think I actually forgot to take the photo of it. I reviewed it and everything. I forgot. I've done it so many times when you start getting like mashup. I always forget to do something.
I feel like you're pretty good with that. I feel you're always taking a photo, no
Like,
matter what the circumstances.
I've forgotten a few times just because you're in the conversation and the podcast. A couple of people said, "Hey man, it's rude to be on your phone." I'm like,
Right.
well, I explained to them beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm listening to I'm writing single word notes.
Right.
Like I'm not writing formulating
point-
sentences.
point form, and then you put it
fruity,
together
crispy,
after.
Just, and
Yeah,
that's just so
yeah.
I can remember. I'm like, okay, that's what that was like. A few things, but sometimes I forget. But anyway, this is great. Mans loves that. Mans. Noun. People. No, solid. So 14 Star are a brewery that are actually founded by two. They're actually in the, I believe it's the army or some form of military.
Ah, okay.
So they're one of the few military breweries in the States, and they.
What do you
I
mean
guess-
by military brewery? You mean
So, like, all
military people opened it?
Yeah, so the two
Okay.
guys who owned it. So the CEO, Andrea, she is the sister of one of the founders.
Okay.
So I actually didn't meet them. We interviewed Andrea and the head brewer, Dan, and who I kept calling Dave. You know how it goes.
Beer, am I
He
right?
forgot my name too, so it's fine. Everyone forgets
Whatever,
names.
Greg.
So, yeah, like they basically like all the names of the beers, right? This is actually, she was explaining, this is a print of a photograph of.
Oh, cool.
It was painted of her grandfather, the grandfather of the owner of Andrea and Steve. I think Steve was his name, if I'm not mistaken. There was two owners. Anyway, I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But they basically, every one of the family members has a print of this original painting in their house.
Cool.
And because it's, he was a maple maker. What do you call it? He
Harvester?
yeah, so he
Yeah.
actually like owned a maple farm, and he was like, that's him making and tapping the trees and stuff like
Cool.
that. So like everything's really relevant to their family or to something to do with the military. Like some of these other ones, maybe this one not so much.
That's so craft beer, isn't it?
Isn't
Like
it
that-
like consistent things?
Yeah.
You know, B-72 is an airplane, like a
Right.
fighter plane.
That's cool.
Tribute is, I guess, it's only got hops on it. But you get the point. Like, there's lots of stars, military-based thing. Like, I don't know a lot about that personally, but I like the consistency of the branding and the names of the beers and stuff.
I feel like nowadays each brewery you kind of have to have a theme. Like you can't just be a brewery
No.
these days. Like you have to have, I guess, because you have to stand out from the crowd. But there's so many like different sports themes breweries or again like military. There's
a lot of ones that do it well.
I guess endless options. Yeah, some to do it well, some maybe not so much. But this seems pretty cool. I'm into this.
Yeah. So, Vermonter Weisse,
Yeah. So
3.8.
3.8% Berliner Weiss with raspberries. Vermonter Weisse.
Getting you.
Get it in you.
You know what? In case it isn't anymore, I'm just going to quickly take the 1-2 photo.
I like that. It's not.
It's nice, eh?
Yeah, it's not super sour.
Yeah.
It's nice and light on the palate, tangy.
Yep.
Nice
and balanced. Ashley, you see me. Yeah. Like
Tasty.
creamy. I feel like it's creamy too.
like a sorbet, a bit. It's like a raspberry sorbet.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Like that sherbety.
Yeah.
Is usually how I describe that shit. Yeah, that's super fire. I like this a lot.
But
and it's like
too.
crushable. They did another version of this too. I think another like a barrel aged version or something like that.
A barrel-aged Berliner Weisse. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I like the 3.8% on this. I don't know if I'd want like a 8%, sour raspberry, super in your face. It would just be like too sweet and sticky. The 3.8% keeps it a little lighter on the palate.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It seems to work.
Totally. Yeah, like usually Berliners like shouldn't be more than 4.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen like 4 or 5, but I think that's too much.
I think that's even pushing it.
This is cool. And I like they played on the word called a Vermonter Weisse because it's all Vermont ingredients. There you go. Chelsea gets that.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and it's all Vermont ingredients to the whole thing, which is super sick.
They're good with that too.
Yeah, like super cool. Even the malt was from there. The hops, the raspberries were local, and they put also raspberry puree as well.
Nice.
Yeah, wonderful.
I feel like there's not a very strong malt profile in this. It would probably all be
light,
base
wheat,
malt, like
yeah.
probably all 2-row, or I don't know if these probably 2-row or Pilsner malt, but
Yeah, super solid
Yeah.
though.
wow.
Shows
Now we're
about that.
moving
That
on.
was yummy.
Now we're on to the big boys.
Oh, the big boys. I like this one as well. This one's great.
Have you had both of these?
Not
or-
tribute.
Okay.
So he drank that during the podcast or afterwards or something, and this one I did not get to try. I only had a sip of this one there, so I hadn't really tried this before either.
Nice.
We
These
drank
are great.
the rest of
Again, I've never had this brewery before. You said you'd had maybe one before you tried.
them. And it was the homebrew one, so technically
Right.
it wasn't really one of their.
Right.
It might have been another one, but yeah, not too many. So it was.
How many
cool to see
other
them.
beers apart from the ones we have here did they have at the brewery?
They had a few other keg, like draft only ones. There was a great like New England called Mojo. That one was super dope.
Nice.
They had a handful of other ones, but they also had a decent amount of like cans. I think there was these 5, and there might have been a couple more. Pretty impressive though.
I like the variety. You know, you got a little bit of everything. So
They didn't mess around. They're really good. All right. So this is B72. This is ooh, smell that.
oh my,
Yeah, right. Oh my.
that sounds or smells juicy.
Look at that juice, man.
Oh yeah,
That's right. You see me out here with the juice.
oh yeah.
Tickas.
Some mans might call that tickers.
Tikkas are thick consistency.
So,
What is the hot? Oh my god,
see if it says.
it smells unbelievable.
It's kind of got that treehouse smell.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I still can't. I've asked so many people, like way smarter people than us, what this is, and no one can have the name for it.
Copious amounts of Australian and American hop varieties.
I reckon there's galaxy in this.
Yeah, it has to be.
Smells
galaxy.
Yeah, that's
Might have
the
been
first
Big
thing I got.
Secret, yeah.
Big Secret or Galaxy.
Well,
I don't know. I wouldn't know which American one. Maybe Mosaic or Simcoe or
something like that.
Yeah,
Citra. Get in,
Put
yeah.
it in, yeah. That's amazing.
Super treehouse.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I still want to need a word. No one's giving me a word for this yet. Like
Creamy
I'm a smart
chalkiness.
Nah, it's the creamy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's no chalk. I don't think.
zero chalk.
And that's the difference. Trillium has the chalk. Some of the Bellwoods beers have the chalk. This has this. It's like dank. It's slightly dank, but in New England style. Feel me? Like I don't know. I asked someone like literally maybe in Colorado the other day. I'm like, what is this? What
I
is it?
think maybe it's something to do with the water profile, right? Like the minerals in the water, the salts in the water.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's deeper than that. I just don't know how to describe it. If you had this side by side with, say, a real chalky,
Right.
like Goblin sauce, or like any of Trillium's stuff, I'm trying to think of something else that's like that, the chalky style, and you'd be like, oh, okay, I can identify it immediately. And there's a whole bunch of beers that taste like this. That taste like have that same whatever that profile is.
I kind of associate the chalky and creamy is the same thing. I don't know if maybe my
No.
palate's a little different than yours in that sense, but
Chalky is a dry dustiness that,
Right.
like if you have like, do you remember sometimes it was like medicine or whatever, like a little tablet, sometimes edible, chewable tablets, not like a vitamin C that are a bit like that, but like
like a calcium almost to it.
yeah, calcium's a great way to
yeah.
describe it. So it's like that's a chalkiness because it
Interesting.
leaves a residue in your mouth, and it's like.
Well, if there are any brewers watching or
Yeah,
listening,
please.
let us know what flavor or what texture are we talking about here that maybe you would have a better idea of, what ingredient or whatever contributes to that.
I just don't get it. I don't know what
profile.
it is. And I did a trade with Giles recently for a bunch of Treehouse, and I had a bunch of them in a row. Normally we'd only shared like between a bunch of us, so I'd never had much Treehouse. And when having a bunch of them all together, because I never really liked it that much, I'm like, oh, now I kind of like it, and I get what they're doing.
Right.
And every single beer had this profile, and I didn't enjoy it every time because every time we drank it, we had it with a Trillium.
Right.
Every time.
And they're just different
They're
profiles.
just so different.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fair. Or we compared them to
similar
each other.
too, really, but...
They're all, I mean, the same thing.
Yeah.
You go through Other Half, you go any of those breweries, and they're all... See, Other Half beers that taste like this, and they also have beers that taste like Trillium.
Right.
So they do both sides. So it's like...
Vermont has the style locked down, though, man. Like, this
Vermont's
is...
killer.
It's unbelievable. Like,
I
I haven't had a beer like
this for a while?
well, yeah, and outside of Vermont, really. Like, I feel like Bellwoods are kind of on a similar tip, but like...
Ish.
But this is like... I've never heard of this brewery before, and this is like a knock my socks off IPA. Like,
Hell
this
yeah.
is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is one of my faves from the... Nyam Nat.
Consume
to
said
eat.
beverage.
Everyone just sharing beverage. See, it's family out here, guys. It's the BOS family. The last one being that we're hitting the 20-minute mark for more than Yummy.
It's interesting to me that they'd have two double IPAs. One's 8%, one's 8.1%. Like, how different are these beers? I'm curious to see.
I haven't had this one, but I've seen a picture of it, and it was significantly less hazy.
Oh,
It's
yes.
cloudy, yeah,
Completely
it's
less
not as-
hazy.
Shells? No?
Maybe it's...
No, I'm okay.
Sure? Okay.
try a little bit of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Sharing is caring.
Trust me,
is.
there's like much more where that came from.
Yeah. Give that one to Nosh. Nosh needs the big dog.
Nosh needs a big one. Nosh had a bit of a boo-boo.
Love you guys.
Love you. So what they're actually doing there, like I said, they're keeping this as their double IPA.
Right.
And they're dropping B72 down to 7%, I believe, because it's 8 right now, and they just said because it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're
And then
too
to have
close,
two-
and yeah, it doesn't.
Although completely different beers. Like, I guess we're about to
True.
find out. Look at
Yeah.
that. Like, look at it. The other one was creamy. This
Yeah.
is opaque.
Ours look a little different. I think you got a little more. Of
I got a little more of the murk
yeah.
in the bottom, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, get in here.
Get it in you. Very different.
Yeah, very good.
This is more.
West Coast, dang.
Yeah, yeah,
Piney.
yeah, exactly.
This is great, though.
and that's what I thought when that has a real
Creamy, eh?
and lingering bitterness.
Yeah.
It's just coating my tongue right now.
Wow, this is fantastic. This is the only one I actually didn't even take a sip of. So this is the first time for me. Like, I sipped the other joint. It's
I
nice.
almost feel like this is more on like a. It's closer to like a heady topper, whereas this is more the northeast style. Yeah.
This is more of a Vermont.
So now it makes sense to me now why they'd have two similar.
Yeah,
like
they're very different.
They're very
beers.
different, right?
But I think it makes more sense to drop the ABV on that one because they could probably market that as an IPA and
Yeah.
this would be a double.
Yeah.
Even if they dropped it to
I was like,
6,
why wouldn't you keep this at
7?
8 and drop this down? But I'm like, after having this, I'm like, yeah, keep
I
this
think it's
one.
going to be boozy.
Yeah, I think it does. You're right.
And I like that beer is sometimes fluid and that like, a product can change. It's still going to be the same thing, but probably put a little bit less malt. And it'll
Yeah.
be the same beer, just a little bit lighter.
So they say it's like a smooth malt base serves as a stage for the hops to perform.
Ah,
Which
cool.
makes
Wow,
complete sense.
great
Yeah.
description.
Yeah.
But yeah, all their beers, I'm super impressed over by them all. It was a fantastic. We tried like podcasts with like 2.5, like 2 and 3/4 hours. It was huge. Like you would have really liked them. Such great people. Super fun. So definitely visit if you're in Vermont. Particularly if you're coming from Montreal, it's literally the first town over the border. There's Swanton. It's that second town. So it's
Yeah.
not literally. It's
Right.
the second town. Second town, St. Albans. Swing by and see them. The great tap room. Their beers are fantastic.
Yeah.
You better check some of the tap room only products and stuff. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, mate, chuck us a thumbs up. Hit subscribe below. Hit the notification bell. There we go. So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast and check out the long form audio so you can hear very intelligent people talk about cool things regarding beer.
We're not the intelligent people; it's the other people that are.
Oh, it's the other people.
Yeah,
We're-
yeah.
It's not us. Don't worry about us. Yeah, follow us on Spotify. It's very convenient. You go listen to a bit of, I don't know, Imagine Dragons if that's your bag. And then I don't know why they came into my head. That's
Yeah,
random,
whatever.
eh?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to check Christina Aguilera's back catalog. That second album was
No, you
fire.
listen to Notion.
Oh, Sean, baby.
Oh, no,
Whoa.
Sean.
Hit up Notion. He's
Fire.
fire. And then go follow BOS and you can listen to your podcast and get your beer stuff as well. And check us out on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, reviewed.
Reviewed.
Reviewed it.
Hey, what-
Reviewed. Also known as
Re-
review. Rate and
Subscribe,
review.
rate.
Is that Toronto slang or not really?
We just made it up right now.
whatever.
It's new. It is now.
Do whatever you have to do there. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Get in ya.
Peace.